Virtually all kids come into the world eager to learn. That's their goal in life, learning, 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 and learning difficult things. But just a few years later, we see so many kids afraid to try something difficult, giving up easily when they make mistakes, getting discouraged about their abilities. It's rampant, and it's a major problem in our country. So my work addresses, why does this happen, and what can we do about it? In our work, we find that some kids have a fixed mindset about their talents and abilities. They think, these are just fixed traits, you have a certain amount, and that's that. This is the mindset that turns students off to learning, because they're afraid of taking on a hard task and looking dumb, because dumb is forever. They're afraid of working hard because, well, if you were smart, you wouldn't have to work hard. And they're afraid of setbacks because, again, they think it measures them. Students who have a growth mindset are the ones who believe that your talents and abilities, even your intelligence, can be developed over life through your hard work, your good strategies, good mentoring and instruction from others. It's not that they think everyone's the same or anyone can be Einstein, but they understand that even Einstein wasn't the guy he became before he developed his abilities, put in hours, months, years of hard work. We also have a line of work showing how praise can impact these mindsets and affect achievement. What we have found is that praising intelligence backfires. It can harm kids. It puts them into a fixed mindset and makes them non-learners. They want to look smart, not dumb, and they withdraw from difficult learning opportunities. Praise the process that the child or student engages in. Their effort, but not just their effort, their strategies, their focus, their persistence, the trying of a difficult task. And this seems to be something that puts kids into more of a growth mindset, makes them eager for challenge and more engaged in the face of difficulty. We just published a study showing that parents' praise to their babies predicts the child's mindset and desire for challenge 5 years later. And we have new data showing that the kids, so the process praise predicted a growth mindset and desire for challenge 5 years later when the child was in 2nd grade, and this is predicting their achievement scores in 4th grade. So what we're talking about is going in and tweaking a mindset that the student has. Maybe tweaking a fixed mindset that has been standing in their way of fulfilling their potential. Because make no mistake, to fulfill your potential, you've got to take on hard things. You've got to stick to them. You've got to find setbacks provocative. So we've asked, if we tweak this thing, can we have an impact? Well, not only does the mindset have psychological and behavioral manifestations, it also has physiological, neurophysiological manifestations. Researchers at Michigan State University monitored students' brains as they worked on a hard task and periodically made errors. What they found was that when students were in a growth mindset, the relevant areas of the brain showed tremendous activity, indicating that they were detecting the errors, processing them deeply, and correcting them. When you look at the brains of the fixed mindset students as they made an error, nary a sign of activity. They are fleeing from those errors as quickly as possible. And it's not to say that it's built into the brain. If you taught someone a growth mindset, they would start processing the errors, but it can be seen in the brain. I think the testing culture has fostered more of a fixed mindset. If kids feel labeled and judged, they're not excited about school. They're not as excited about learning. If they feel that the education environment is where they go to grow their brain, and that's what people want. They want them to grow their brains, and educational policy is oriented toward growing their brains. That's something students of all ages can buy into as a group. Stephanie Freiberg, a researcher at the University of Arizona, went to the Native American reservation where she grew up and transformed the elementary school into a growth mindset school. Those kids who for generations had been turned off to education felt undermined by the educational system. Within a year and a half, the kindergartners and first graders went to the top of their district, which included affluent sections of Seattle. The third through fifth graders many were making a year and a half or more of progress each year. The underserved kids are often the ones who profit most from a growth mindset intervention. Often students who are laboring under a negative stereotype are not achieving up to their potential. A negative stereotype says it's fixed and your group doesn't have it. When you teach a growth mindset, that doesn't make sense anymore. It's something you get through working and learning. It's not something you just have or don't have. So our interventions have particularly benefited underserved minorities or women in math and science fields. We've been talking about underserved minorities and underachieving students, but this applies equally to high-achieving students. Ones who have maybe been able to coast on their abilities, who haven't learned to work hard, they may also be stunted by a fixed mindset. Recently, a parent came up to me and said her son had graduated from an elite high school the year before. He was part of a group called the Geniuses. They all went to top-tier universities, and they were all flunking out. They had never learned how to work hard, how to cope with difficulty, how not to be one of the clear geniuses. They were victims of that fixed mindset. So it is imperative that we challenge our high-achieving students at all times. Teach them to welcome difficulty, teach them to grapple with setbacks. And I say, let's not just teach those kids how to go out of their comfort zone. Let's teach them that stretching and struggling, that's the new comfort zone. I've come to believe that the more we see that abilities can be developed, the more it becomes a basic human right for all children to be in environments that help them develop those abilities and that are committed to helping them fulfill their potential.